What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel where we're talking wholesaling land, new construction, and private lending, specifically for ground up new construction. And in today's video, I kind of want to go over how you can get both builder clients to represent them to help them go out and get these new construction loans while you're searching to wholesaling land. This technique is nothing new. I didn't create it, but this is virtually driving for dollars. If you're familiar with wholesaling houses, they talk about driving for dollars being, a cheap strategy. And driving for dollars is really just picking a neighborhood, driving up and down the street in the neighborhood, looking for those, houses with very high, tall grass, just run down houses, right, for you to be able to wholesale. Same thing can be done with land, but virtually, right? And to do this virtually, there's different platforms and softwares that you can use. The most common, I believe, being Regrid and Land ID. I've used both. You're not going wrong with either. They do offer a paid service, $10 a month. That's the one that I have for Regrid. And I'm going to show you how you can virtually, drive for dollars doing this. Here we go. We're in 75212 here in Dallas. Um, it's a great market for you to start in. If you're in the Texas area, or if you're in a market that's really not as desirable. I'm not going to just single out any specific city or state, but we're going to start here. So this, you can just really start at a street and just go up and down the street. So here's Morris Developers. What I did, I went ahead and looked up Morris Developers, the LLC, on Open Corporates, and I found this is the owner. Here's the registered address. It is a business, right? So you just highlight this and put it in Open Corporates, and then find his name and give him a call. And what you would do is say, hey, Jorge, I saw that you own this vacant lot here on 2007 Namas. Do you still own that lot? Okay, well, I mean, I see you're a developer. And what I would do personally, I would talk to developers two ways. You're not going to be able to get the property like for some crazy number, right? They're developers. They know the values of the area. Simply say, are you interested in selling this lot? Okay. Would you want to sell it, like at market value, or are you willing to, take a little lower if we can close faster? Builders, they think differently than your average, seller, right? They know if they list the property online, they could probably get, top dollar, but they do have to pay some realtor fees and stuff like that. Or they can not pay any realtor fees, sign it over, like this. So I would talk to them two separate ways. One, ask if they say no, okay, do you have any other properties in the area that you may be interested in selling? That's how I got my first deal. My first deal came from a builder. So ask them that. If they say no, or if they say yes, okay, now you can kind of go more into the conversation of like, who do you use to fund your construction projects? And just let them talk. If they say, oh, I fund out of pocket, boom. Why? Ask them why. And then you can kind of introduce them to the private lending new construction products that a lot of these private lending companies have, right? That can be iFund Cities, RBI Private Lending, Kiavi, Renovo, RCN, Zeus Lending. There's a lot of private lenders out there that you can kind of get an idea of how they work, what documents they require and stuff. And I have, a worksheet that everybody who's in my group, they have it. And I'm like, look, start closing deals first, then you can offer this service. If you have already closed deals and you understand the lending space in any type of capacity, you adding this to your business, you can turn a $3,000 deal into a $7,000 deal just by finding the lender, charging a point and a half, right? Or what's the referral fee for the lender? Are y'all, are you giving $1,000 per referral? Like, but I would go the route, I charge 1%, 1.5%, and I'll go out. You're essentially operating as a broker, right? So you're going to say, hey, Jorge, all right, you're building a house. It's going to cost this. What's your experience? Have you built before? Then you can go into those questions for your builder. Okay, because when you go speak to a lender, they're going to ask you, what's your client's credit score? What's the address of the property? What's the budget or scope of work? And what's the experience? So if I have the address, I have the budget, I have architectural plans, or at least a breakdown. If it's like a 3 bed, 2.5 bath, 1,900 square feet, the lender has what they need to go out and comp it, right? So if you're saying $300,000 value, right, and I go out and I go look for the comps in the area of what you're trying to sell, and 224 is the highest, but you're saying 300K, there's a discrepancy there, right? So that's why address, the scope of work. So that's the construction budget or renovation budget, and also what you're going to need is the unit mix, like the specs, the bedroom, bath, square foot, right? Once you have that credit score and experience as a lender, they're going to have what they need to quote you out, and they're going to give you what's called a term sheet. Once you get the term sheet, you send that over to your builder and get their feedback. They're saying, "Oh, can we get better pricing? Maybe if it's at 10.25 on the interest rate, can we do 9.75? Right? If it's 2% origination, can we do 1.25? We're like that's the type of talk, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then if they say no, we can't, we're stuck there, then take this term sheet to another lender, but don't get into the habit of shopping lenders, right? If anything, I would send the deal out before you get term sheets back. I would send the deal out to every lender. Hey, I need a term sheet. I'm talking to these other lenders, da 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 da. Whoever has the best terms, we're going to go with them. We're not trying to shop. I'd rather just see what everybody offers. Just have the information there available for them. Boom. Now you're not just wholesaling land. You're more valuable to this builder and then you start learning how the lending space works. So you're building these relationships with these builders, right? You're selling land for them, getting loans for them. Now, when it comes time for you, because your goal should be to start doing new construction. If you're wholesaling land, your goal should be to start selling new construction. So, with that being said, all right, so boom, you call that person. So now you see another vacant lot down here. This says Frida Valerie. And then you see this property is owned by the same two people. This vacant lot right here, they're owned by the same two people. This is virtual wholesaling right here. If you want to be more neat about it, you can start on the street, go all the way down, and then turn around and go all the way down, turn around, go all the way down. And you just sit here and make the phone calls. This should honestly be 5 hours of work, honestly. Like to knock this whole little area out, this little area. So let me show you how. So if we're on Redfin, this is how you know where you need to go look. All right, so we got 75212. Okay. So here we go. If we go sold over the last 6 months, now we go edit our filters, house, townhouse, minimum year built, 2025. Over the last 6 months in this zip code, 27 homes have sold. And these are high price tags. Okay. So you can see I started over here from between New Hampton Road and Singleton Boulevard, all the way over to Sylvia Avenue. So this pocket right here. You see Singleton's right here. Here's the other road. And I'm going to stop probably like right here. And I'm going to see every single vacant lot between Singleton and the freeway, I'm guessing. So I'm starting down here. Boom. Going all the way down, all the way across. You're going to come across some of these lots are owned by builders. Ask them, are they buying more lots in the area? Do you have any current projects you're doing? or anything in the pipeline that you haven't got terms on, right? You can ask them, have you used private lending in the past, or do you pretty much use bank financing, or do you finance your own new construction? Because if they're building, that's the only three ways they can do it. Like, or they can use private money from friends and stuff like that, right? But I mean, you're like that's part of it. Like, I mean, why haven't you considered using private money lenders? Because I mean, like private money, they really help you scale your business because you don't have to spend as much of your own money up front or while you're building. You know what I'm saying? Like you're paying interest only, no prepayment penalty, and they fund 100% of the construction. If these builders own these lots outright, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You're coming to the closing table a lot of times with $0. And lenders do have first-time home builder programs, right? So like if you maybe you own the land, you don't have any construction experience. At that point, all you need to do is make sure that you can afford the loan, right? You have some funds, right? Make sure you can afford the loan. You have a GC who's solid, who has a track record, and you off to the races. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to find a way to get it done. But see this lot right here. I'm not going to put, but here's the address. It's a vacant lot. It's owned by Rita Korea, 0.13 acres. So it's a little over 5,000 square feet. Like, I mean, look at that. Boom. I'm making that. I'm skip tracing this and making that phone call. I just don't want to put the information on. But I mean, here's another vacant lot. It looks a little small, but I mean, just for sake. So it's probably this lot right here, or maybe this is just a tear down on it. But here it goes. It's on. Oh, it's actually bigger. So I'm calling. I'm making the phone call, and you sit and you do this in the zip codes that work, right? So if I was to go, all right, I called every lot in here. I got a few deals in the pipeline. If I go back to Redfin, I can see, okay, this area is popping too, right here. Okay, Westmoreland Heights. So I'm gonna come over here. So it's up here, and I mean, I may as well just go to Singleton Boulevard. So I'm gonna go from Canada Drive to Singleton Boulevard. I'm going right here. Boom. And I'm calling all through here. It's the same area that these comps are. It's the same thing. This is without you pulling a list. You don't have money to pay for the dialer, right? This is what you're going to have to do. If you don't have money to pay for a dialer, you don't have money to pull a list. I mean, you got to figure out a way to do it. This is the only way to do it because the Mojo dialer is $100 a month. The prop stream is $97 a month. Not to mention paying for the leads. Spend $50 a month on leads, right? That's $250 a month just to have your business up and running, for it to make sense for you to even do it. You just instead of manually calling, you're going to be putting the headset on and just hitting play. And it's going to be ring, ring, and then you go through your spiel. But if you don't have that and you have a laptop or you have access to a computer and you ain't got no money, but you want to close a deal, you want to get a deal closed, you got to do this right here. Like this, I mean, this is the only thing this is it. You got to do this and you got to find the zip codes. Start in your own backyard. Simply just get an idea. And you can easily get in touch with realtors and ask, where's a lot of new construction going on in Dallas right now, besides 75212? What markets do you recommend? And then simply just go test it out. Boom, see, okay, make the calls. You're going to get an idea of what the land values are going. You're going to get an idea of what the property values are going. Because builders typically want to pay 10 to 15% of the resale value for the land. Okay. So if they can sell a property for $100,000, they want to get the land between 10,000 to 15,000. Some builders may even do 20%. So they may go up to 20. But for our numbers, for you to have a minimum $5,000 spread, 10 to 15%. Stick to that. And this is it. This is not rocket science. You don't even really want to get into the habits of using scripts. There is a flow. The conversation needs to start before you like start just conversing, right? So if you're calling a landowner and you ask them, are they interested in selling? And they say no. You don't just start talking about anything else or no, you want to say, okay, do you have any other lots in this area or around, say the city's name. So in this area or around Houston or in this area or around Nashville that you may be interested in selling. Once they say no again, you automatically go to, okay, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time. Is it okay if I keep your number on file for future follow up to see if anything changes? They say yes. Thank you. You have a blessed day. Boom. On to the next. You don't got time to be wasting. Just on to the next. Boom. You have a few. That's a lead right there. Boom. That's a follow up. I would say follow up maybe once every 2 months. I wouldn't wait 90 days. Once every 2 months. If you're text blasting, put them on like a text schedule just to maybe give them a ding once a month, but call them once every 2 months. That's how you structure that when you're talking to the sellers. And that's it. You know what you're calling them for. How you doing? My name is, and I'm with so-and-so. But be transparent about what it is you do. I'm part of a land acquisitions team. It's my job to connect land with builders here in the area. Because that's what you are. Don't act like you're going to buy the property. Because like that comes off as like, you're deceiving them. And that really is what it is. You're not buying the property. You have builder clients and you are an acquisitions agent. And what you do is you call sellers and connect them with builders. You control the whole process. You can tell them that. All you do is get paid a number that we agree on, and you handle your closing costs along with your taxes up until the day of sale. And we handle the rest. And that's it. That's how you have to talk to these people. Don't get focused on a script. After you make 20 calls, you're not even about to go off that script because you don't have the conversation so many times. You just get your point across. My name is this. I'm with this. This is what I'm looking for. Are you interested? Yes or no? Boom. No. Okay. Can I keep your number for future contact? If they say yes, okay. If they say no, don't call me again. All right. Don't call them again. You're not begging these people. There's people that's motivators, like that's own the land. Like, yeah, I'll sell it. Focus on getting to those people. And you're not going to get there if you have long drawn out conversation. If you're one of those type of people that like has long drawn out conversations, you're not going to make it. Because by the time you look up 2-3 hours later, you only made 40 calls when you should have made way more than that. And when you're dealing with builders, you need to ask the right questions. First, are you still active? If they haven't done a project this year in 2025, they're not active. If they say, yeah, the last house I built was in 2020, you're not an active investor. The lender is going to look at that person and say, no, that experience is too far. Typically, lenders go 3 years back. How many deals have you done? That means how many developments have you done, started and exited in the past 3 years? And you should be able to show them a settlement statement or a HUD that shows their LLC that they're the guarantor on, right? That they're the owner on, they're the registered agent on, that's on that settlement statement showing that they've closed on that loan, or if they funded it themselves, cool, and they sold it to somebody. That's how lenders look at experience. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. If you haven't signed on a loan as a guarantor, or if you don't use private money or bank financing and you use your own funds, your LLC still should be on the settlement statement from selling the property. This business is sales. It's sales, it's marketing, it's everything in one. But time is of the essence because you're an entrepreneur. It's not guaranteed you're gonna make money every day. So you gotta make the most out of everything you do every single day. You have to. Otherwise, you're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna feel like you're putting in a lot of time, which really is like you're misutilizing the time that you have. You should be focused on talking to as many people as you can every single day, starting out. Don't worry about nothing else but getting on the phone with sellers, getting on the phone with builders, finding builders buy box. What zip codes do you buy in? What type of projects are you building? What's the price points that you're looking to be at? What's the minimum size square foot lot? What's the max size square foot lot? Once you have that, it's off to the races. Now you know where you need to go start hunting at. It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. So that's all I have for you today. Again, I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you're listening to, and if you want to learn more, I do have a land profit program. It's just one-time payment, $97. No, it's not $97 a month. It's just one-time payment. I'll give you all the docs you need. I'll give you everything you need to evaluate your deals. Ultimately, though, you got to have the grit to get on the phone and make the calls. So if you need some assistance, some guidance, go ahead, shoot me an email. Let's get you on the program.